Hello guys, welcome to my new tutorial on CI/CD process for Python Flask project using Docker, GitLab and AWS ECS. So let's get started. What is CI/CD process? It is continuous integration and continuous delivery. It enables automation for build, test and deployment for any project. So the developer can actually focus on development rather than thinking about how to build the project in Docker and how to deploy it in AWS or any other cloud services. So this will be the process that we are going to follow. First we are making a Flask project, then we will dockerize it and try to run it on our local systems. Then we will push the image to DockerHub. Now when the whole process is working, then we will be using GitLab as a source repository to push the project, which will internally initiate the CI/CD process. So we are using gitlab-ci.yml. We will be configuring GitLab runner here, which will push the image to DockerHub and also to Amazon Web Services ECS service. So once you just push the project to GitLab, your output will come on AWS ECS and the container will automatically be deployed there. So these are the steps that we are going to follow. First, we will be setting up the project. First step would be to set up the Python virtual environment. Then we will be writing the code for Flask application. We will be writing a new REST API here. Then we will be building a Docker file and we will try to run that image on our local systems. And then we will be pushing the image to DockerHub. So this is the first part of our tutorial. So let's get started on this. We will be doing the coding in Visual Studio Code. So this is our workspace. So first let's go ahead and create a Python virtual environment. So why we create Python virtual environment? Because we want to create an isolated environment for Python. So any libraries if we install in this environment will stay in these environments only. So we are using this command to create a new virtual environment. We can see the environment is ready. We will just go ahead and activate this environment. Source environment bin and activate. So once this environment is activated, we will create our new Python file. We can name it as app.py. Okay, so now what we have to do, I will quickly install Flask library here. Pip install Flask. This will install the Flask library, so we can import Flask. Then we will be creating a new REST API here, which will be a get API, and we will simply display some dummy data. So app.root we are using for mentioning the URL path of our project, and the methods will be get. Okay, we are done. Now we have to create a method here. Method name we can write it as home. We just have to return, so we can return some HTML here, demo flask app. Now we will run this as a Flask application in debug mode. So this is what you have to write if you want to run the app in debug mode. So you can also see the logs. Debug will be true and host will be your local host. So 0.0.0.0. Now you are done. Let's go ahead and try if this project is working. Okay, flash. Okay, my mistake. We will run it again. Okay, it's up. So let's test it. Localhost 5000, and this is working. Now we will create a Docker file for this. So Dockerfile, I hope you guys know, it has to be of same name and same casing. So we will start by importing a new Ubuntu image. We will be using this as a base image and we will run some commands to update it. So this is a command for updating the environment, and this next command is for installing the Python library to this Ubuntu image. Python dev, and now we have to specify what all requirement does this project have. Okay, so what we have to do, I will simply freeze the requirements here, and we will generate a requirement file. So this is the requirement file. So for running this project, these libraries will be needed. So we will copy this requirements file into the Docker image. Where to copy this? App requirements.txt. So we are copying this in app folder. Now working directory will become app folder. So now we are going to run the command for installing all these requirements that we mentioned. So this command will install all the requirements, all the libraries that we mentioned. So the entry point would be your Python, and finally when everything is done, we have to run this file using Python command. So this is our Docker file. Now we have to build this. So docker build -t Flask app will be the name of our image. So image is building. Now this is ready. So if we go and check Docker images, we can see 7 seconds ago we built this Flask app. Now we have to push this to our DockerHub. So now we will log into DockerHub, create a new repository here. The name you can mention as Flask app. It will be a public. Click on create. The repository is ready. Now simply pick this namespace. And we will tag our image to this namespace. So Docker. So first let's log in into Docker. So this command you can use to log in into Docker account. Password, you can enter your password. Once the login is done, you will tag your image, docker tag flask app to latest will be the tag name. So why we are tagging this? Once we tag our image, you will Docker images, you will see it like this: Ankit Malhotra 2110 Flask app. Okay, no, not this one. About a minute ago. So you have successfully tagged your image with latest tag. Now you can push this repository to your Docker hub. So how to push? Docker image push, and mention your image name. Okay, so this says this is referring to docker.io. So that this means this is successfully tagged to your repository. So our system is uploading this image to DockerHub. It can take some time depending on your internet speed. So once the image is pushed, you have to go to DockerHub. Just refresh it. Go to tags. Go to tags. Okay, it's still pending. Okay, it's done. Let's see. When you go to tags, so you will see latest image and this is the URL for, this is the command for fetching this image. So if anybody uses this command, he or she will be able to pull your Docker image that you just pushed. So this is how we can build a Flask project, Dockerize it and push it to our DockerHub. Now we will see how to build a CI/CD process around it. So create an account on GitLab, go to the dashboard, click on new project. We will be creating a new repository, Flask application repo. You can name it anything you want. Click on any visibility level and create project. So the project is ready. Now we will set up our Git, use these commands. Now we will be pushing our existing folder. So git init, we will be using this command to push our code to GitLab. I am modifying this URL because sometimes the same URL doesn't work. So if this works for you, fine, else you can also change the URL just like I did. We have added everything in the local repo. Now we are pushing it to the remote branch. It is getting pushed. And now when we go to GitLab and click on project overview, in few moments the project will come here. So this whole project along with the environment is getting pushed to the Git repository. So anybody in your team, if you guys are working, then you can fetch the whole project, and if you are doing any changes, you can maintain the Git repository. If you want, you can create a new git ignore file, and this environment you can put it in ignored list. But for our demo, I have pushed everything. So our environment is ready, GitLab project is ready. If you face any permission issues, just make sure you have added certificate of GitLab. For my case, I have already added that. So this thing is ready now. We will go ahead and set up the new GitLab runner. Runner is an executable which is running on your system and is responsible for running the automation script, the GitLab-ci script that you will be writing. So I am just opening the Mac OS guidelines for installing this. If you are using any other operating system, you can go ahead and use those commands. So I am just installing GitLab runner here. So once we are done with the installation, we will be registering this runner with the GitLab repository that we just made. It will take some time depending on your internet. So GitLab runner is installed. We will write command to run the services, start GitLab runner. So the GitLab runner services will start working. Now this is ready, so we will register our runner. Password, you will be entering your system password. Now just go to your project, go to settings, CI/CD. We are in the process of registering our runner with this project with our GitLab instance. So copy this URL, paste it here. Token will be this. Description you can write as GitLab runner for YouTube. Now this tag is important. So for now we are writing tag as Docker YouTube. So this tag that you mention will be attached to the YAML file. So when this project will be pushed to GitLab repository, the tags that you have mentioned in the YAML file, the same runner will be executed. So this tag is something which is mapping your project to the runner. Now it is asking for the executor. We will write as shell, and this is registered successfully. Now we have to verify it. Sudo gitlab runner verify. So the runner is live. Okay, so now what we will do, we will start this runner, run. So now your GitLab runner is ready and is actively listening to any commits that goes to your repository. So if you commit anything, if you change anything and commit to your repository, that command will come to GitLab runner, and GitLab runner can execute something to automate the CI/CD process. So now the next step is we will go ahead and create a new cluster in ECS, AWS ECS. So open your AWS management console, go to your ECS service, click on get started. So now this is the UI you will get. Click on custom, configure, container name you can write as Flask app. So the image will be the same image that we pushed, this one. The tag name will be latest. The port we can mention as 5000 because this is the default port for Flask application. We will enable application load balancer here. Click on next. Cluster name will be Flask cluster. Click on next and click on create. So this process will take a while. While this process gets executed, we will start writing our YAML file. So this is the CI/CD file. We will save this YAML file with a specific name, gitlab-ci.yml. This also has to be exactly same name. So now we will write some jobs here that will enable the automation. The stage will be build, tags would be, so tag will be something which we just have mentioned in the runner. So we will go to project settings and we will see if the runner is enabled. Expand. So this is the runner that we registered. So the tag name will be Docker YouTube. And now we will start writing the script. So this script is something which will be executing our code, which will be executing the build, test and deployment process. So what is the first step that we did? We build the Docker file, right? So Docker build. This time we will simply create the Docker image with the same name, Flask app latest. We will confirm if it is same, yes. Now we will push this image to DockerHub, and once the image is pushed, we will write command to ECS. So the ECS will update the image. So if you remember, in the ECS creation process, we have mentioned the image name. So once we run this command will get the latest image from DockerHub and it will update it. So here we will be writing our cluster name. So the cluster name was Flask Cluster, and the service name was Flask App Service. Flask App Service, and we will say force new deployment. So what this argument does, it will update the existing service. It will update the existing image. So now we will see our ECS cluster is ready. We will go ahead and see if the app is working. Click on the load balancer. So ideally it should have downloaded our image from DockerHub and it should be running it. So let's see. Yes, it is running. So now what we will do, we have our gitlab-ci file ready. So a small correction here, we will just put an extra dash. We will do some changes into the code and we will simply push this to our Git repository. So let's write the Git commands. So git add git commit changes v2 and finally git push -u origin master. So this time, along with the v2 changes, this gitlab-ci file will also go into the master branch. So let's go and see if we have received this commit on our GitLab. So changes v2 has come and gitlab-ci file has also come. Now go to pipelines. So as you can see, our pipeline is running. So you can click here and you can go to your build job which we created in the gitlab-ci file. So here you can see the logs, how the image is getting generated. So we wrote all these scripts in that YAML file. First it is building the Docker image, then it is pushing the Docker image to DockerHub. Now the third step would be to push this image to AWS ECS. So we are just calling the service here. There is no after script which we have mentioned, so the job is succeeded. Now we will go to the same URL and we can see the changes here. So what we have done, we have only done the changes in the workspace. We have pushed the workspace to our GitLab and rest all things are being done by GitLab runner and automation scripts, and the whole CI/CD process is running. So this is how you can also do. So this is all about today's session. Thank you for watching. Do like this video.